Welcome back on the AN Show. It's time now for us to get into the newspapers. There's a lot of things happening in the country. Let's review what's been captured in the newspapers. But of course, Benjamin Akakpo is in the studio with me. Good morning, Benjamin. How are you doing?
I'm okay. It's just that sometimes when you listen to the antics of our director, you would feel like sending him a knock through the television. But we'll leave him. He thinks he's the only one who can talk in our ears and that we can't talk on air and deal with it.
Yeah, talking to you, Gomez.
One of these days, we'll do him a little, something small. I can't use that word. You will do him something small on air. Then he'll realize what time it is. But how was your night? Did you have light?
I did. I had light.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I haven't had the power. I haven't experienced it in a bit.
Okay.
So whatever they're doing, it's working for me.
Monday I was affected, but not yesterday, not today. I'm fine.
Okay.
But you know, I told you a friend in the States, right? It was quite a surprise because I had a WhatsApp meeting with this person. The person was in a meeting at around 8, so we shifted to 9, and I told the person that will not happen. Just about a week and a half ago, it won't happen because my power is out. And do you know what the person did? Shockingly, because I wasn't expecting it, sent me an email, sent me 2 power banks.
Oh.
And there was someone coming to Ghana. So the person, some big, fat power banks, 30,000 mega amperes, another one, 36,880.
Is it because
it was
2? So one for me, one.
Someone in the back room is asking for one. Unfortunately, the other one has been given out because we are in doom.
Now I know you don't love me. So before we get into the newspapers, I know you want to tell us about Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic.
Would you like to do it today?
No, your watch looks really good.
Oh, you like the watch?
Yeah, I like the color.
Oh, okay. I'll send you the bill. I'll bring you the bill. Anyway, let's now talk about Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. They make it possible every weekday for us to bring you this segment. And as always, they're offering you, if you're a man, prostate screening for free. I've had a lot of people, since I started Prostate Watch, a lot of people reaching out to me, my prostate this, my prostate that. Masa, grow. When your prostate is just this small walnut-sized organ in your body, but if it starts messing you up, it could be problematic. Just get yourself checked out, like a car. Take it to servicing. Go for maintenance, right? Get a checkup. If you're a woman, fertility-related issues. I hear there's a certain percentage of women that will develop fibroids that develop to a point where you may need surgical resolution. For some others, everybody, practically every woman I hear has a bit of something going on. It just may not develop to the point where you need surgery. But why wait? Get yourself checked. Know your fertility status. The good thing, Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic is offering you screening in both these areas for free. Here's where you can reach them. At Spintex, opposite the Shell signboard, then that's in Accra. Then Kumasi, Kronomabwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's Takra De Anaji Estate. There's Tema Community 22. There's Techiman Hanswa and there's Siama Nzima. You can also reach them on 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. I need backup on this. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic.
The end to chronic disease.
The end to chronic disease. And it's just the start of our conversation with Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante.
Yes.
He's a political scientist and director of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Doc, Yamawachi.
Yaura, good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
You guys look great.
Thank you. We try for God and country.
And I like your setup. Beautiful.
Thank you, Doc. Would you like to usher Doc into the conversation?
Doc, as usual, you have about a minute to react to any of the topical issues in the country right now, and then we'll get into the newspapers.
Straight away, thanks for the opportunity. I'll jump to the limited registration. When we talk about free and fair election, there are indices to measure that. And one of it is what? Voter registration. How you are able to register voters, get their names on the list, the roll of voters, so that on the day of election, if they want, they can express themselves or exercise their franchise. It is critical because anything that affects it obviously undermines the whole electoral process and render the election useless. It is on the basis of this that people like us, from where we sit, we will always want to urge the election management body, that is the Electoral Commission, to be up and doing. The stories we have heard about the first time voters, people who are about to vote for the first time, is not good enough. I think they can do better. The registration has not ended, so the days ahead, I expect them to put their house in order and make sure that all the problems they are talking about, power outages, ineffective machines, and the rest of them, they will be able to fix them and get people. I listening to Joy from your program, and then you see how excited young people are. They're getting the opportunity to vote for the first time and all that. Please, they should not cut short their dreams and all that, and make sure that the machines work and that those who are qualified get the opportunity to register and express themselves on the day of election. That is all there is to it if you want to ensure that there's a meaningful democracy.
Right.
And if I may just chip in on that point, like Doc mentioned, power outages, ineffective machines and all of that. But two other things that are very worrying. One, locations advertised by the EC that were non-existent. So you can go and register here, but you go there and there's nothing happening. Yeah. That's one. Another one, a worry, and I saw on some platforms people talking about them. So I want to put it to the EC so that you avert, because the more above the board, the more honest you appear, the better it is for the optics of the elections, ahead of the elections. There were places up north where there was a total blackout. There was no registration process going on. There were places in other regions as well, and then people were starting to draw linkages. In the Ashanti region there, I don't think there are such problems. In other words, someone's stronghold, there are no issues. In another person, you see, and I don't believe that. I don't believe that is true. But EC, get things right so that people can't draw such linkages, because that is how the trouble starts. So let's get our act together. That's my simple point that I want to make.
Right. Let's get into the newspaper, starting with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. On the front page, it says, help us deal with land guards, sun winners. Blue Skies management appeals to the president. Goma Fete chief condemns killing of soldier at Kaswa. Beg pardon. New force leader launches 100 million Ghana cedi crowdfunding to support electioneering. Stop premium undercutting to sustain industry. That is Commissioner of Insurance. Unlimited voters registration commencement experiences some hiccups. Let's start with a story that says stop premium undercutting to sustain industry. And he reads it on page 8 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The acting commissioner of insurance, Mr. Michael Kiando, has advised players in the insurance industry to desist from premium undercutting to help sustain the insurance industry. Premium undercutting is defined as the practice where an insurance company offers clients unrealistically low premiums in order to gain a competitive advantage. So according to him, premium undercutting remained a challenge to the insurance industry and denied it the necessary funds to develop. I'll do 3 more stories and then from the Ghanaian Times newspaper, and then we have the chance to react to all of them at once. New force leader, Cheddar, launches 100 million crowdfunding to support electioneering. So the leader of the new force, Nana Kwame Bediako, has launched a crowdfunding scheme to raise 100 million Ghana cedis for his 2024 presidential campaign. He said the scheme was targeted at those who believe in his presidential ambition, adding that such persons could donate through www.nkb.com or by dialing *887 *2024 hash on all telecommunication networks to support his ambition of becoming the next Ghana's president. I'll put a pin in that. Help us deal with land guards and sun winners. Blue Skies management appeals to president. So, management of Blue Skies Products Ghana Limited, producers of Blue Skies fruit juice, have appealed to the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, to help them deal with activities of land guards and illegal sun winners in the operational areas. According to the company, these illegal activities in the area were affecting the cultivation of pineapple, which served as the main raw material for the operations. And they were speaking during the interaction with the president as part of his official visit to the company at Dobro in Nsawam yesterday. And the final thing I'll do in the Ghanaian Times newspaper before we get to some reactions is the limited voter registration. We've spoken a bit about that. So the takeoff of the nationwide limited voter registration exercise by the Electoral Commission yesterday was largely peaceful, but some incidents which nearly marred the process at some centers on the first day. And we've seen most of the issues. I just want to add that yesterday I was at Ayawaso Central, and some guy who said...
Soto, right?
No.
Oh, wait, when you went... because Central is
Soto.
this way.
Ayawaso Central, the former EC office. After Soto, we came back to...
You came back to...
Central,
right.
Where there was some sort of altercation. In fact, what am I talking about? It was a fight. And there was this national security officer fighting one of the monitoring agents from the NDC. And according to eyewitness reports, the security man had been clandestinely sending people in to register. People who didn't look like they were minors or just turned 18s, we can call them that. And so a media person was filming the process, and he got upset that he was being filmed, and it got into a whole, fight. People had to come in to separate them. First day, and we're already witnessing this, and parties are saying that they are not busing people and there's no law against busing, but trying to infiltrate the system with people who are not even minors or who are not qualified to be registering. What do you stand to gain?
So there are some quick points to make before Doc comes in on that point. One has to do with, and I think yesterday there was some talk, or 2 days ago, about these purported national security operatives. You remember Ayawaso West Wugon? Some of those masquerading. Some of these people are party people. Let's put it that way.
Oh, they are party people.
Party people. Either they are indeed party people who've been roped into the service, or they are not even national security. And that's a problem. Because nowadays someone comes, I'm national security, and the person actually doesn't, maybe picks you up, and before you know it, and that is why I will never, national security. What shows you are national security? It is watering down our security institutions. And two, I don't know what the benefit, well, there could be a benefit, because you can't double register. When I had Dr. Srebo Kweku here yesterday, you can't register twice. If you do already, there will be mechanisms to root you out. You get that. Yeah. So I don't know whether these people are even in the know. Maybe they are thinking, I have registered somewhere, but I can come and register here and vote. You'll get caught, you'll get penalized, you may suffer the penalty for that. So I don't know what the basis is, but of course, the advantage could be that maybe you know that X person is from this party, or will vote for this party, and you are getting them registered ahead of other people you don't know of. That could be problematic. But you see, we are sitting on a time bomb. If we keep playing these games,
this guy is swallow. But Asah-Asante, what are your thoughts on these 4 stories before we get into other cases?
I will start with the Langard issue. It's very unfortunate. I think this country has come out with a law to regulate lives in this area. Why are we having Langards in this country? It tells you simply put that there is weak enforcement. State capacity is weak in this regard. Because why do we have a law? You saw the speed with which the president rushed to parliament to throw the bill there for it to be considered and passed into law, and he quickly signed it. What is happening when we have a law to deal with it? And now we are seeing activities of Langards, coming up strongly. There's something wrong with our enforcement, of the law. We need to be able to do it well so that we save all ourselves. Because if we allow these things to fester, I'm afraid a time will come, nobody can venture into any forest to do any business. And the time you realize they've taken over this beautiful state of ours. So all of us, it is part of our duty that when we see something, we say something. We report them. And when we do, the authorities should act and act swiftly. That is all I can say. Let me move on to the issue of Shada trying to raise funds for his campaign. It's normal, legitimate. But what we want to see is that the campaign must be campaign driven by issues. We want issues. Promises, I will do this, I will do that. Yes, this election, we want to take the conversation to a level higher than previously done. What I want to know is that if you promise us that you will build a cathedral, for instance, I want to see where you generated the money. Where would the money come from? How often are we going to get? so that at the end of the day, you don't come back and tell us that, yeah, I did not know that much, and that is why we are where we are. No, give us the mathematics of it. How is it going to be implemented? And if we see that it is not viable, through our questions, we'll be able to know that, and will not give you any mandate. I think I will urge all, civil society groups and all the people who matter in these areas by posing the right questions to them for people who don't have the capacity to be able to do this, so that we can do that on their behalf, and that will inform their choices in a more positive manner. Democracy grows well when the people have information that is reliable, and that based on that they can make a decision. I will touch on the issue of insurance premium undercutting. It is unfortunate that we still have this practice going on, to the extent that now the commission is out there crying about it and all that. There are things when we do, we think that you have individual benefit, but the total effect on society is what we must address our minds to. You undertake this exercise and people get involved in accident, and you need to give them insurance, and you are not able to do. You are only creating a problem by destroying the insurance companies and creating problems for the state to bear and all that. This is unnecessary. Let us make sure that we stay within the rules of the game, and that's all. If you want more money and it is out of reach, you do what is needful to be able to get it. But using illegal means, I'm afraid there is a day that accountability will be there, or the full the law will catch up with you. And what do you say? That's where the problem will come. Okay. The last one, I think I have dealt with it.
Yes.
All the issues. Okay.
So posterity will judge us all. Now, the New Finder newspaper at the front page says network failure galore, chronicling some of the issues that came out from yesterday at the first-time voters' experiences. Bawumia's policy is good for president, next generations, that is according to Ahafo chiefs. President assures blue skies of government support. Too busted for attempting to smuggle 130 bags of cocoa beans to Ghana. Get a paper for yourself and read some of these stories. We've touched on most of them. In the Ghanaian publisher, NPP loyal ladies prefer female as running mate. Ahafo chiefs endorse Bawumia's agenda. I cannot hand over to Mahama, says Akufo-Addo. And the role of succession planning in promotion, brand resilience, sustainable growth, all on the front page of the Daily Publisher. I'll just do this one story about I cannot hand over. It was in a news bulletin.
I wonder why the president keeps saying that.
In fact,
is it the people who will determine that, or is it the president who will determine?
Is that he took power from Mahama, and Mahama is not pleased with anything that he has done, for which reason we should not vote for him. Jesus,
I find it very problematic that the president keeps saying that. Not because I feel anything should happen, but how can you be saying, he's always saying the election must be free and fair, we must retain peace, and yet you keep saying, who determines that? Mr. President, you have one vote. So are you speaking for the generality of the people? Are you speaking for yourself, or what? I don't get it. Doc, I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I think I'm so surprised. Power springs from the sovereign will of the people. It doesn't come from anybody. And the president, being a lawyer, his understanding of this issue, he has more superior understanding than my good self. We don't want him to go on that route, because it doesn't lie in his mouth to make that statement. The good people of this country would decide who will succeed him. It's not he. So what his duty now is to make sure that he fixes the economy, the doomsday economy. He must address it. All right. We want to see, a conversation between the doomsday economy and the 24-hour economy. That's what Ghanaians are looking forward to. The issues must come, discuss them, but not some of these comments, which it doesn't help anybody, because he doesn't have the power. The good people of this country, 7 December, they will decide who will be their leader when we enter 2025. It is not Mr. President to do. I'm sorry, Mr. President, that is not your role.
Benjamin, what papers do you have? What do they say?
The Daily Graphic, EVAT in limbo, retail outlets suck economy dry. Nation loses billions in revenue. There's also be bold to publish findings. Attorney General tells African investigative bodies. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Especially on the back of what is happening between the OSP, Yoko, and the AG. Attorney General tells African investigative bodies, be bold to publish findings. System failure delays voter registration. On the back page, Greater Accra RegSec declares Ramsar sites security zones. So let's quickly get into the stories. The Daily Graphic has uncovered that many retail outlets in the country are not complying with the Ghana Revenue Authority's directive and the law on the electronic value-added tax invoicing system more than 18 months after the initiative took off. While the Value-Added Tax Amendment Number 2, Act 2022, that is Act 870, enjoins eligible companies, thousands of them, to comply with the EVAT, almost all the companies listed to integrate their billing and receipting system to a GRA designated system are refusing to do so, thereby denying the states of millions of Ghana cedis monthly, which translates into billions of cedis a year. Now, about a week-long mystery shopping conducted by the Daily Graphic revealed widespread non-compliance as an overwhelming number of companies defied the order to issue receipts only electronically through an interface with the GRA system. But the GRA introduced the modified EVAT system through the Taxation Use of Fiscal Electronic Device Act 2018, that is Act 966, in October 2022 to improve revenue received from VAT. I have two thoughts on my mind. One, why are the businesses avoiding doing this? I'm not saying it is justified, but when you have a tax handle and businesses, this means thousands of them, almost all of them are avoiding it. The question is why? And the electronic system of GRA, is it, working perfectly? Is it a picture perfect system? Because those are the things. If taxes, no one across the world likes to pay taxes. But in other jurisdictions, it's because if you try the little pim, you'll be caught, right? If you create room for people to be frustrated when they are trying to pay tax, that could be a disincentive. So how effective is this electronic system? Because I remember I've been somewhere before. They were trying to do something like that. It wasn't working, so they had to do a manual thing for me. That's why I'm asking, how effective is that electronic system? And two, have we dug into why they are avoiding this? Doc, any thoughts?
Yes, I think you have said it perfectly, because nobody is interested in paying tax. But when systems are put and they are effective system, you can dodge. You can dodge that. And let us remember that it is out of taxation that we are able to run the affairs of the state, the extractive capacity of the state. The state must be in a position to put systems in place to generate enough revenue to run its affairs. So it is the duty of GRA to be able to do this so that we can get the minimum or the maximum revenue that we need to run our affairs. We need that at all times because it is so important. We don't need to be relying on foreigners to support our country all the time. If there is the need for us to build our own states from our own resources, the time is now. We can't wait any longer.
Let's get into other stories. Be bold to publish findings, Attorney General tells African investigative bodies. And Godfrey Abuadami has urged investigative bodies in Africa to be bold to disclose to the public the full results of investigations into allegations of corruption against members of government, which turn out to be untrue. He said it would augur well for the fight if corruption allegations that turned out to be refuted or unsubstantiated were fully put out by investigative bodies. Quoting him, he says, "This is one sure way to boost the confidence of the public in their government, reduce the suspicions, distrust, and cynicism with which the public views office holders, and boost the corruption perception index of our respective countries." Godfrey, you could start from Ghana, right? I mean, especially now with the OSP and everything, and especially when you listen to anti-graft campaigners, and of course you read the fine print of what was submitted, what was not submitted. Iyoko was supposed to rely on the prima facie evidence given by the OSP to go ahead and conduct their own investigations, which did not happen, even per their statement. And the AG also said there was no basis We heard Mami Atiwa also come and say this and that. So in the end, these things you are talking about, why don't you start from home? Charity begins where? At home. How about the SML report? You are talking about being above the board report. Your guidance. What is your guidance, Mr. Godfrey Yabwadame, to your government? What is your guidance to government on that report?
Benjamin.
So as for talk, dear, it's cheap. We can all talk. We can all talk. You wanted to chip in?
I don't think we are... I don't think we are their target audience, you know. I think back home, they don't care what they say. They don't care the image or brand that they are projecting. But on the continent, in the world, they want to look like they're actually doing something that's meaningful and relevant. So you make statements like this, saying people should be bold and publish things. But back home, you're not practicing what you preach. So are we your target audience? Are you talking to us? Are you Benjamin? Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante?
Yeah, I think it's an empty talk. It's an empty talk because you need to preach. You don't need to preach virtues and practice vice. What are you telling people out there? And my lady, you are right on the spot. In that, are we your audience? We have told you what to do. You even know how to do and do it better. Is that the case? When people give you all the reports, do you have the courage, the political will to deal with that subject matter of this corruption? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And when Transparency International, they release their figures, then there's wailing and gnashing of teeth. Why are you crying? They will continue to do their work. And I have realized that in this country, we don't want to fight corruption. Simply SITA. Nothing more, nothing less. Because if we really are interested in fighting it, there are so many ways in making sure that we nip this phenomenon in the bud. But we are not ready. We'll just come throw dust into the eyes of the public and then deceive people into believing that, we'll be able to do the work. We are not ready to do it. Let's forget about it. But one thing I want us to avert our minds to, that in politics, what goes round comes round. And it's always reward and punishment system. Today, you don't want to deal with the problem of corruption. The next day, you will run and make sure that you deal with corruption head on. So they must be guided by this, that in politics, it is associated with reward and punishment.
Doc, I'm going to run very quickly in the next minute or so, just give you some headlines and thoughts. But in the political section, page 17 of the Daily Graphic newspaper, there is a quote there by Harry F. Banks who says, "An informed people is one of the best guarantees of a continuing democracy." An informed people is one of the best guarantees of a continuing democracy. How informed are you as you prepare for election 2024? Or is it they said, she said, he said, or my party says? Do you know what's going on? That's that. The Daily Guide newspaper, it says you have good policies, Ahafo chiefs to Bawumia. Then there is voter registration takes off after initial hitches. And this one, the banner headline, Mahama will run down Ghana. That's according to Nanado. Let me just say this, though respectfully. Comparatively, if we compare Ghana under Mahama and Ghana now, I could also say, Mr. President, that you have run down the country. How about that? Dr. Asah-Asante, your thoughts?
You are spot on. You are spot on. Mr. President, this government, we want to tell you in your face right now that you have run down the affairs of this state. So you don't go there, because when we go into details, you know it, all right? It will expose you. So allow the people to decide the direction they want to go. This type of propaganda talk, this type of, throwing out something, it doesn't help anything. It doesn't help anybody too. Ghanaians are well aware of what is happening. Look at what Dumso and government and the officials are pretending as if it doesn't exist. Who are you deceiving? Look at how difficult the economy has become. Life is so difficult now to bear, right? Look at what everything, from economy to social issues to political issues and the rest of them. Mr. President, you need to up your game and fix it. You were telling Mahama that fix the economy, fix the doomsday, and fix unemployment. That is what we want. But I'm surprised that the party is sitting down and they are not addressing this issue. As for Mr. President, January 7, 2025, he is not on the seat. So I expect that those who inherit should be able to make sure that all these things are not said and we get the best so that they can leverage on that during the election. Otherwise, I don't know the kind of answers that they have for us. The same questions that they put to Mahama, we are going to push it back to the examiner to see whether the question that he said is worth examining or worth answering.
Doc, we'll draw the curtains here, but let me just add the Daily Searchlight depreciation. Did Bawumia lie to Africa Watch? And the Accra Times, Sayo, pay Zoom Lion. Workers cry out as they appeal to Nana Akufo-Addo. We're so grateful that you took the time to join us, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. Always making our Wednesdays, as the Germans will say, wunderbar. Wonderful. God bless you, sir.
Most grateful. I wish you a good day.
All right.